Welcome back. All right, so there's some stuff I want to talk about. First off, why aren't the seats filled in Tampa? Like the Tampa Rays are playing a baseball game. It's a playoff game. It's a wild card game. It's not full. Anyways, that being said, I want to talk about wrestling first. So Jade Cargill moves to WWE. WWE making a big deal of it, and Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge, now the Rated R superstar Adam Copeland in AEW. So I think this really underlines something I've been saying for a long time. I think that Copeland in AEW is a good move. This definitely will bring some more eyeballs to their product. And Jade Cargill to WWE is also a good move. Cargill, it feels like if she's going to take that next step, WWE makes a lot of sense. They will, I think, do a really good job of protecting Jade. We'll see if they have her go on a winning streak like AEW did. But AEW built her up. So what happens here is, the argument has always been that, well, AEW, they just use WWE stars and they don't create their own. Well, Jade Cargill's proof that that's not the case. Now, they do have a mixed track record when it comes to which players become stars and which ones don't, and there's definitely some questions about their booking. The same comments that you can make with WWE. Copeland going to AEW means you get that interaction between him and Christian to close out that pay-per-view, and I think everybody's a winner. So this kind of is to my point that having multiple companies that are doing well is to the benefit of the wrestlers involved. There were a lot of times before AEW came into existence that a wrestler, their choice was WWE where they could make a good living, or there wasn't another option. And so while some wrestlers can get creative on indies and make a good living and maybe go over to Japan or wrestle down in Mexico, having another company based in the U.S. that is doing well and well enough to get almost as much TV time and attention as WWE, I think that's for the best for wrestlers. Of course, I've talked about OVW. It seems like their profile's definitely risen since Wrestlers on Netflix came out. Again, I'll throw in here, if you haven't watched it, I recommend that you do. Although the episode with the death match between mother and daughter was one that my wife was not really keen on. And I get it. I totally get it. I get, because she's not really a part of that wrestling fandom. So some of this stuff really throws her, and she kept saying, "But why? Why would they do this?" I tried to explain it to her from a wrestling perspective, the idea of getting over, the idea of, proving that you can wrestle in a match like that, which would have been Haley's point in there. But again, it's interesting with non-wrestling fans explaining it to them, which is a segue into the NFL and all of the discussion over Taylor Swift. And I haven't done a video on it. I've honestly thought, well, it'll die down. I don't know if it's going to, but I'm going to say this. The NFL leaning into it, the idea of Travis Kelce dating Taylor Swift, or is he not? I don't really care if they're dating. But if Taylor Swift going to Chiefs games means more people watching football, that means more money for the NFL. And it makes a lot of sense that the NFL would lean into that. We've talked before about how ratings for broadcast sports have fallen off. Broadcast sports aren't nearly as popular now as they were 30, 40 years ago, back when you had, 10 channels and repeats everywhere else. I'll watch the baseball game. I'm sure that was the discussion in some households, but the reality is that people aren't watching sports on TV as much as they were. So if Taylor Swift's appearances at NFL games means more people are going to watch Chiefs games and buy Chiefs jerseys, then that's what you do. And so the NFL leaning into it and talking about it on their social media, I know it aggravates people, and I know it aggravates people, the idea of having to explain the rules. But I go through this with hockey too. New fans generate the same amount of money as current fans. I know I've talked about that on the other channel a lot. That, I mean, personally to me as a YouTuber, if I get 50,000 views on a video, but every single view is from a casual or a non-hockey fan, it's still 50,000 views. So if the NFL gets an extra couple 100,000 people watching their program, just with the idea of maybe seeing Taylor Swift in a press box or sitting down next to whichever other celebrity she's there with, then they get those views. They get those people. They can charge higher ad rates. It improves the company's profile. And while the NFL is the most popular North American sport, I'm pretty sure it's the biggest moneymaker in North America, they can always make more, right? There's always more money to be made. So I totally get why the NFL's leaned into this. I understand why people are aggravated about it, but for me, I think it makes a lot of sense because, Taylor Swift is a money-making machine. Join her with an NFL player, the league being a money-making machine as well, and there you go. So the Jays and the Twins are getting started. I've got that game on my TV. I'm not planning on doing recaps for the playoffs at this point. It's interesting that they're against the Twins, and I say this because, of course, as I've mentioned on the Hockey Channel many times, the state of Minnesota not known for winning championships at this point in time, right? So getting the Twins, it feels like they avoid the Tampa Bay Rays, which might be for the best. I don't think they match up well with the Rays. I think they have a better chance of success against the Minnesota Twins. And yet I find myself thinking, it's been a while since the Twins won anything either. Whoever wins this series is going to be the one I'm rooting for to win the World Series. I don't think it happens necessarily, but I will be rooting for whoever wins this series to win the World Series at the end. But we'll see what happens, whether or not the Jays overcome the Twins or vice versa. But it should be entertaining, right? Should be an entertaining setup. The Chargers and the Bengals, the two teams that I follow in football, somehow they're both 2-2. I'm surprised the Bengals have evened up their record. Not overly impressed with the Bengals to this point, but 2-2 for both teams means they're in it. They're at the very least in the mix. And if they're both disappointing, well, I've been a fan of both teams for a long time. I'm kind of used to that. So when they do really well, I kind of wait for the shoe to drop anyways. And neither of them have ever won a Super Bowl, so we'll see if I ever see a Super Bowl. Yes, having good quarterbacks like Burrow and Herbert, it helps. But again, we'll see how the rest of the team works and all that fun stuff, and whether or not they can get over the hump come playoff time. Of course, from the football on the weekend, I had to mention this in the video. The Bears had a lead. The Bears had this one won, and all the social media posts I saw were about how the Bengals are so bad that the Bears are killing them, and this just shows just how bad the Bengals are. The Bengals defense are just awful, terrible, and I don't think anybody's going to argue with that because they allowed 70 points the week before. But then the Bears have their meltdown. Now, they led 28-14. Wasn't it 28-7 at one point? It doesn't matter. In the fourth quarter, the Broncos scored 17 points to win the game, 31-28. And I'm going to agree with, while Annie Agar's videos are generally just kind of a joke kind of video thing she posts on social media, talking about coaches that should be fired, I'm not going to disagree with her. And yes, there are some coaches that make baffling decisions on which plays they're going to run, both offensively and defensively. And I'm glad to see that people talk about this openly and question it, because when I was watching the NFL every single week, there were at least 2 or 3 occasions, it seemed, every week where I would see the lineup and I'd be like, okay, it's a short yardage situation. Why are they lining the defense up like that? Or vice versa. It's a long yardage situation. What are they doing? And so I'm glad to see people asking these questions. And offensively, I had that too, where I'd be like, wait, why are they running here? It's 3rd and 9. Why? What are they, like? I mean, if you perceive a weakness in the defense against the run, okay, but in general, that's a throwing down. But yeah, so the Bears out choking the Denver Broncos and dropping to 0-4. So as bad as the Broncos looked, they're not Bears bad. And I almost wore a Bears jersey for this video, and I thought, nah, I'm going to leave it. But I had to mention it in this video because it's remarkable seeing teams just melt down like that in football games. And I get mad about clock management. I get mad about when they use timeouts and when they don't, and which plays are being run. Like, it's just, I really get into it. The funny thing is, I think I'm more critical of decisions made when it comes to football and coaching and all that than I am with hockey. And I would say that with baseball as well. There are times where a pitcher gets taken out and I'm like, I don't know why they're taking him out now. And sometimes it's, well, the pitch count. Well, yeah, but his velocity's still there. He's still got the location. They haven't figured out a way to hit him. Why are they taking him out? Was the other teams like, oh, you got to take him out? We're starting to figure it. Like, I don't. But anyways, there you go. So a little bit of a sports roundup for all you fine people. I'm wearing my Clerks jersey here. One of my favorites of the Entertainment Guy jerseys that I have. I've never actually done a video where I've gone through all my Entertainment Guy jerseys. I should. That'd actually be a fun video to throw together. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And tell me why you're tired of all the Taylor Swift NFL talk, or if you're not. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.